Jet 210, climb maintain 1000.
After 11,000, Jet 210.
Number 401 Sierra, contact approach 120.05.
2005, 410.
Exit 3850, turn right in 310 and check the localize.
310 to localize.
Flagship 3850, your 320, you'll maintain 2 to establish, cleared ILS, runway 344.
2 to establish.
How's it going, guys? My name's Toby and I'm an air traffic controller here in New York, and welcome to my new aviation themed YouTube channel. I felt, after watching a lot of the aviation content available on YouTube, that I had a perspective to bring that could be unique and something that you guys would enjoy. As somebody who's learning to fly right now in the complicated New York airspace, I noticed that I have a real advantage because I'm so intimately familiar with the airspace and the procedures. And that makes my training and my experience a little bit smoother than some of the other people who don't have that background when they come to learn to fly. So learning to fly in this airspace is incredibly difficult, but I think it makes you a better pilot. And for those of you who aren't learning in this airspace but don't fly through it because you just find it too intimidating, I'm hoping that my channel can be a resource for you, help you develop a little more confidence to be able to come to New York and fly through this airspace. And for those of you who already do fly through this airspace regularly, I still think there'll be a benefit to watching this channel. Now, this is episode 1, and a friend of mine, Dan, who is a certified pilot, he wanted to do the Hudson River flight, had never done it before, and asked that I would join along with him. So we rented a plane out of Farmingdale, and we flew overhead LaGuardia, overhead Central Park, just like that, across the reservoir in Central Park, joined the Hudson River southbound, down to the Verrazano Bridge, turned around, came back up the East River, overhead LaGuardia, and then back to Farmingdale. It was a fantastic flight, a little bit bumpy, but that footage is what I'm going to show you now and explain to you, for those of you who've never done that flight and maybe don't have the confidence to do it, what's involved in it. And hopefully, if you enjoy this footage and this episode, you'll subscribe, and I'll be bringing a lot more content to you. So thank you, and safe flying.
Cessna 6059 Delta, northbound is approved. Runway 32, clear for takeoff. Wind 32013, gust to 19er. Traffic right downwind Learjet.
Clear for takeoff, runway 32, 6059 Delta.
Jet 32, with a 68 Bravo.
Cessna 199, you can join final now. Join a 3-mile final from your present position.
Join 3-mile final from present position. Cessna 199er.
Wind 32013, gust to 19er.
64 Charlie Alpha is in the left downwind, runway 32, and I request the option.
And who's looking for the option?
64 Charlie Alpha.
All right, guys, we're now northbound out of Farmingdale, heading towards the Wren intersection. I had Dan plug that in because I knew it was a good fix for him to navigate towards, and also that the approach controller we were going to call was going to know exactly where that fix was. Now, it's hard for you guys to know which fixes to use when you check in, but if you stick to major airports or VORs, you'll be fine. You'll hear me check in, reference Wren, and it's a real smooth process. No confusion there.
New York approach, Cessna 6059 Delta.
Cessna 6059 Delta, New York.
Cessna 6059 Delta, 6 miles south of the Wren intersection, northbound at 1,500 feet. Hoping to go overhead LaGuardia if you're able to accommodate.
59 Delta, squawk 0204.
0204, 59 Delta.
Okay, guys, 2 things to mention here. First, I prefer to check in the way I just did. New York approach, November 6059 Delta. That's it. Now the controller knows there's somebody looking for flight following. If he heard me the first time, he'll type my call sign into the computer and get a squawk code. But I'm not his top priority, so don't tie up his frequency. Just get your call sign out there and he'll get back to you. Second, we're calling for our Bravo clearance and for our flight following well before we get to that airspace boundary. Do not wait till you're right on the boundary and then have to turn away because the controller isn't prioritizing you. Now you got to turn away, and that's just annoying. If you take care of it early, you're going to have smooth sailing and get your clearance, and it'll be a much smoother operation for everyone.
Zipper 114, survey heading 250.
250, Zipper 114.
5 Juliet Sierra, contact 118.17.
1817 for 5 Juliet Sierra, good day.
Hey.
JetBlue 114, advise wide planes in sight.
Inside, JetBlue 114.
Blue 114, clear visual approach 34.
Clear visual 34, JetBlue 114.
Right out here, JetBlue is
6059 Delta, your radar contact, and the altimeter is 3039 at LaGuardia, and you cleared into the Bravo, 2,000 feet, head towards the Throgs Neck Bridge overhead LaGuardia.
cleared in the Bravo, 2,000 feet, Throgs Neck Bridge, overhead LaGuardia, 6059 Delta. What was that altimeter one more time?
Altimeter LaGuardia is 3039, 2,000 feet overhead LaGuardia.
2,000 feet, we'll start the climb, 6059 Delta.
All right, guys, we've gotten our clearance into the Bravo from New York approach, and we've turned towards the Throgs Neck Bridge and climbed to 2,000 feet. Your clearance is either going to be 2,000 or 1,500, depending on the runway configurations at LaGuardia. What you need to understand about this routing, it will not always be approved. Do not have an anticipation or an expectation that you will get this clearance. And if you don't, you can just turn northbound and navigate beneath the outer shelf of the Bravo and ask for a Bravo clearance from the area around the Alpine Tower. That's usually approved. So do not assume this routing will be approved. Now let's take you back into the cockpit.
I have the 57th Street Tower in sight, and I see the valley. I don't have either the islands.
Contact with LaGuardia 126.05, good day.
2605, 6059 Delta.
Thanks, all.
Papa, Roger. Exit the Bravo Space Radar Service terminates. Call VFR frequency change group.
Call VFR, good day.
LaGuardia Tower Cessna 6059 Delta with you 2,000 feet to the south stanchion, hoping to go over Central Park and then southbound road.
6059 Delta, roger. You maintain 2,000, the altimeter is 3039er.
3039, we'll stay at 6059 Delta.
Tower cab, no tip of Roosevelt Island.
Tower tab, north tip, Roosevelt Island, 6059 Delta.
Exactly what you thought.
Raise Victor Tango, descend and maintain 1,500.
A north tip of Roosevelt Island?
Right.
Yeah, so cheat close to the TFR.
Yeah, you see the TFR there on
yeah.
the map?
Yeah. Yeah, look at this guy off the left wing.
Star 59 Delta, you familiar with that 1 mile TFR?
Affirmative, 59 Delta.
Roger. And you wanted to do what? Central Park to the Hudson River?
Affirmative, and on the way back, if we could come up the East River, that'd be great.
East River to where?
Back overhead, the tower cab back to Farmington.
All right.
Yeah.
But just start, don't blow past the shoreline, so if you want to start.
Yeah.
First final over there.
Yep.
Big baby, that's the shot.
There's a nice wind out of the west, so I don't want to get.
Dog 59 to Delta, contact Newark Tower 127.85.
2785, 6059 Delta, good day. Newark Tower, Cessna 6059 Delta, 2,000 feet southbound.
Traffic.
6059 Delta, altimeter Newark 3040. You want to go down to the VZ and then do what?
After the VZ reverse course, we'd like to go up the East River if LaGuardia can accommodate it, back overhead the tower cap.
Back over to what destination?
Farmingdale.
6059 Delta, maintain 2000. It's approved as requested at the VZ. Can make the 180. LaGuardia said the East River is good. Altimeter Newark 3040.
3040, proceed as requested, 6059 Delta.
Cessna 59er Delta, traffic just north of the VZ, northbound at Diamond Star 1500, traffic 2 southwest of the Verrazano, northbound to Cessna 172, also at 1500.
Looking for the traffic, first look inside, 605.
59 Delta, roger.
And 412 Papa Juliet is also looking for the traffic. No joy.
2 Papa Juliet there, 11 o'clock, in about a mile and a half, 2000, it'll be over top here just south of the Bayonne Piers.
Okay, we'll keep looking.
Right, guys, one more thing to talk about to help make your communications smoother with air traffic control. We are going to make this 180 at the Verrazano Bridge, and we want to fly back up the East River rather than the Hudson River. And this is not something that's common with fixed-wing aircraft, but it's totally doable if you make the request. The key is make the request with the appropriate controller. That airspace on the East River is LaGuardia Towers airspace. So I made the request when I was still talking to LaGuardia Tower. Now, they didn't tell me while I was still talking to them that that's approved. So when I got to Newark Tower, I made the request again, knowing Newark was going to have to call LaGuardia and get approval. Turns out, as you heard, LaGuardia had already called Newark preemptively and told them they approved my flight up the East River, and that made everything a little smoother. But again, try to understand whose airspace is what. I know that's hard for you because you don't have airspace maps, but in this case, the East River, that's LaGuardia Tower.